Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. You start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice. There are no limits here.
There are no limits here, ladies and gentlemen, mostly because this is the 2-year anniversary of your Sunday Night Addiction. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Painting with Menoth John show, and I am Menoth John. Holy cow, 2 years. Unbelievable. But before we reminisce too much on tonight's show, I need to bring on the man that makes this all possible. Really, one of the driving forces behind me showing up on Sunday nights, because it wouldn't be a Sunday night if it wasn't all right, with my co-host, Mr. John Spencer. Say hello to the Brushies on the second anniversary show!
Hey, Brushhead, how's it going?
Yes, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for our show, proving to ourselves that we have the staying power, the stamina, if you will, to bring it to the brush heads with full thrusting, pulsating, bodice-ripping painting here on Painting with Menoth John. I don't know where I was going with that, but it sounded a little bit like a Harlequin romance. And so here we are, and we're ready to start the show. But before we start the show, John, we have to have our beverage update, do we not?
We do.
All right, so tonight, because I'm a loser, I did not get out to get any, and frankly, Troll Chuck has been a little underneath the weather, so I didn't make it to the liquor store. I don't have any Kraken tonight, but I do have some of the Mount Gay established 1703 Barbados rum that was gifted to me at Warmachine weekend. So I've got a little bit of that, and then, of course, I've got a little New Glarus Spotted Cow to celebrate the Packers over the Detroit Lions. Yay. What are you having for this evening, Mr. John?
My standard.
Nice. So you have the cherry Coke with the Kraken?
Well, Kraken and I got some cherry Coke, and I've got a cherry Dr. Pepper mixed with my cherry whiskey.
Oh, my God.
It's cherry.
How about I pull my, after as many times as you've had that drink, you think I'd remember this stuff.
I mix it up occasionally.
I blame it on my old age. However, I do wear the salt and pepper as good as it gets. So there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of John and myself, to the brush heads out there, the folks that make this worthwhile doing, hey, Ron.
Ron.
I'm even drinking it out of the real glass today. Can I get it up close here? Man, getting the stuff, there it is. Painting with Menoth John. Still available. Still a few available. So there you go. Boy, I thought, John, that the best way that we could celebrate the 2-year anniversary of this would be to kind of have a Brushhead Gallery, and boy, oh boy, do we have a Brushhead Gallery.
Yeah, you're telling me. Quite a few people sent some stuff in. That's good.
Absolutely. We had a fair number of it early in the week, and then the faucet just turned on this morning. Put up a post and reminded people, and I was like, oh my God. It's like all of a sudden people are sending in, and I really, really, really appreciate all of the submissions. So that was fantastic. So we'll be doing that here very shortly. But John, I wanted to we had a little something I wanted to talk about beforehand, and that was an LGS map that friend of the show Zosha Starscream has started up. Did you see that on any of her posts on the interwebs?
I am shockingly not friends with her on Facebook.
Oh my God, you need to fix that, because she is, if nothing else, flippin' entertaining. I'll tell you that. She put together a map where I think it's fed by a spreadsheet. And what it does is it actually puts onto a Google map or something like that pinpoints for local game stores where Warmachine and Hordes is played, and it also will put what day their game night is and what time it is, what their address is, and all the pertinent information you need to know in order to find a game. So I've talked to Zosha about it, and I told her I was going to kind of bring it up on the show tonight. We're going to see about trying to make that a bit of a community project. We have a lot of people here from a lot of different parts of the country as well as a lot of parts of the world. And I think that we could do, if it's not too much work, I'll try to get something figured out with Zosha. We can do maybe a special on it, on how the information has to be formatted or how we want to handle it. I mean, I don't want to turn this into Zosha's new career path, but I think it'd be good to have, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that everyone can find useful.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's hard to find the local stores in an area.
Right. I mean, case in point, even here in Milwaukee, Matt Wonky, who is Wonky Kong's brother, is a PG at another store that I've only visited once for one tournament. So it'd be, if they have if they have a different night than the other game store, and they're really close to each other, maybe that would be an opportunity for me to get an extra game in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. So that is all I had. John, did you have anything for news and announcements? Anything you want to talk about?
No, not really. It's been, aside from the holiday, it's been a pretty quiet week.
Yep, sure. So that's good. Yeah, I took a little bit of time off myself and spent some time early on with Signar Jake, or he doesn't really play any of the games right now. So he's like board game Jake, I guess, or Minecraft Jake. So and then Chuck is here with me now, and so we've been playing a lot of board games and things like that. But we do have a couple of segments here that are going to be quite lengthy. So I've thought that, rather than kind of pussyfoot around here on the old Painting with Menoth John show, we'd just launch right into the Brushhead Gallery, shall we?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is going to be the amazingly cool part where I figure out how to do this and not completely destroy the stream. So here we go. We're going to flip over to this one, and your screen all should have gone black, and now it should come up with a beautiful graphic here. And we have the 2-year anniversary graphic. So, John, are you up to speed on the stream there? Can you see that?
No, I'm not even. It just went to black. So.
Okay. All right.
Always a little behind, but I can see it.
Okay, good. So here we have the. Yes. Thank you to Tadgo for the amazing happy second year of Painting with Menoth John. House of Tadgo, legendary Brushhead.
That's awesome.
Our production values have taken off, ladies and gentlemen. Things are much better now that I have a real computer. So, thanks again, Tadgo, for the amazing graphic. I had to put that up on the first page. So let's go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, any comments on that, John?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
They're a little behind.
Okay. So, all right. So here we go. So now we're going to move on to the next one here, and let's try and get this to actually advance. There we go. I guess I can do it with a single little click of the mouse there. The first models that we have up here are from Alex McEwen. And John, if you're watching the stream, if you could kind of give me some clues or that people are, I'll try not to get too far ahead of the pictures on the stream. But
no, Alex's stuff looks good. Just popped up.
Yep, looks really good. A challenging paint scheme, to be honest with you. I really, with the red like that, and then he's done a very nice job with the kind of a, at least with the colors that are on the picture, it looks like a weathered silver metal, or perhaps trying to go for some type like a weathered bronze type of an effect. Really, really beautiful. Got the Scourge of Heresy there. We got a little Krios 3 action, and then the underappreciated Vigilant, of course.
I really like the white for the Menifix. That really stands out, adds something to it.
It really does. And, the typical paint scheme where you have a red Menifix, this coming off of that darker background. I mean, look on Krios' chest. I didn't even know that he had a Menifix on his chest plate. And this really sticks out nicely. My Krios 3 is an utter disaster. But this is some really beautiful basing work done on these models as well.
Yeah, it looks good. They look good.
So, by the way, guys, if you're listening to this on the audio podcast, this is one of those ones where you're going to want to get over to YouTube and check this one out on the youtube.com/MenothJohn and check this out, because the artwork on these models is absolutely fantastic. The brush heads have outdone themselves this time. And then this is his entire painted Protectorate army here. And as you can see, it is a very extensive army. And all done very consistently, which is a real testament to him. I believe that he went back and repainted this army. And it's got everything there.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little Resnick action there in the middle, a little Resnick 2.
Yeah. I like the again the white minifixes stand out in a lot of places. You know, there's a giant mass of models, but here and there you're like, there's a minifix, there's a minifix.
Yep.
The battle engine especially, you're like, boom, I see that thing from orbit.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, you need to see that thing from orbit, because I'll tell you what, if you don't pay attention to it, it's gonna violate you. It's a wonderful model. Good job, Alex. And next up we have a newer Brushy here. We have let's see here. Actually, he's not a newer Brushy. I take that back. Simon Bromfield Young, and what he's got here is the amazingly challenging white, more studio scheme paint job for Raven, and he didn't start painting minis until just 2 years ago.
That's pretty good for 2 years ago. I mean, it takes a long time to build those painting skills.
Absolutely, it does. And what's interesting, he did a very similar thing to what I did on my Raven, where he took that last little shock of hair there and did it as an offset color. In his case, I think it looks like he went with more of a whitish color. I went with a little bit of a little pink on mine, but really, really, really well done. The white paint scheme is incredibly difficult, and I think you know he's done an amazing job. And the other thing I wanted to point out was that he's since in that 2 years, since going from 0 to 100 painted points of painted cricks, which I say boo cricks, but hooray for your paint jobs. 75 points on the Circle, 50 points on the Mercs, yay, and all of about 18 models of Signar. Now, John, I'm a little confused by something. Why would he call out Signar models separate from Mercs? Aren't they the same faction?
Oh, no, they are not.
Oh, they're not?
No, they are not. Yeah, real players don't need that stupid Signar stuff. They just bring the OP Mercs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Signar is crutch shit, right?
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. So he does mention, though, in his email that he sent me that eyes are still a weakness, and I'm going to tell you, Simon, eyes are a weakness for everyone. They are extremely, extremely difficult to do. I'll tell you what my technique is, and John, maybe you might want to chime in on with your technique. I think we've talked about it on the show before, but it never hurts to mention it more than once. And what I would say is what I like to do is I take, for human models, I'll take and put a black line, a horizontal line where the eye slit is, and fill in the black, and then I will come with 2 vertical white lines on either side of the black, forming essentially a pupil. Then what I'll do is with whatever the color of the skin is that the particular face model, the model face has, I will then kind of sculpt that around the top and the bottom of where that eye is so that it forms a more oval style eye. Now, John, how do you do your eyes?
Well, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to tell you how I do them and how I was recommended by a very good painter to do them.
Okay.
The recommendation is you paint it all black and then you just put white in the corners.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to make it look like you're not, crazy-eyed like I am. And the way I do it is I don't. Eyes, unless it's getting ogren or bigger size, I don't even bother.
Yeah.
Honestly, the shading will cover that, and as long as it's consistent, it doesn't matter.
I really copped out when I did my trolls. I decided the trolls don't have eyes like humans do, that they just have a yellow dot, and that is their eyes. And so that is, and you know what? It looks pretty cool. They look a little maniac, which is kind of fun. I like that about them. So, Simon, great job on your models. Really appreciate you sending into the Brushhead Gallery here on the 2nd anniversary of the Painting with Mouth John show. Now, here's one that you'll probably recognize. These are from Centervale. These are Chris Ordonez's Poke Crocs.
Oh God, the Poke Crocs.
Yep,
I don't even have to see them. I know what they look like.
Yep, a beautiful job on these models. So we've got Snapjaw up there in the one corner there, and we have a Bull Snapper as Charizard. I'm not as familiar with all the Pokemons, so it's so I don't know all the names of the Pokemon, but I'm gonna take. I mean, the conversions on these are amazing. Like Apparently, we have a totem hunter up there in the upper right-hand corner.
Yep, that's Totem Hunter as the Scyther, I think his name is.
Okay, and what is the black-eyed wrestler dressed up as?
That's one of the few I actually know. That's Cubone.
Cubone?
Cubone.
Oh, that's
Yes.
okay. And then what about?
Yeah, it's.
He picked out some real winners. I mean,
the-
where's Pikachu for frike's sakes? It's the only one I know.
Well, they don't have an electric anything remotely electric-y for the Gators. So, but the Blastoise there in the other corner is the Ironback Switter.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. you know the names of the Pokemon faster than you know the names of the minion. I think I find a certain amount of humor in that. So
Rumor has it I used to sell some Pokemon cards.
there you go. And I love the bases.
But this is a very cool army. Very cool army. Oh yeah, he actually got the local. It's Ironheart Artisans. Actually, used to be in the back of the store we hang out at, and he got him to make some Pokemon bases for him.
Yeah, that's super legit. Now
he did this through a journeyman league too. He has some other converted stuff that's not pictured here. He actually swapped out. Like I think he's got 2 units of Gators. He actually took a unit of Gators out and did a whole second unit of Gators for the hobby points because he run a sort of different journeyman where you've got to actually play with the models to get the points for him.
and Banyan is chiming in the chat room that the bone is magnetized in case you want to give somebody the bone.
Oh, I'm not touching that.
There you go. This is the kind of humor you can expect tonight on the Painting with Menoth John second anniversary show. By the way, what count are we at as far as the people watching the show tonight?
We are at 30 because Tin Can
Nice.
Sniper had to bolt catch the audio tomorrow. We topped at 31 so far.
Nice, that's super sweet. Oh, what? Hey, Dow Dark's
Yeah.
in the house. Hooray for Dow Dark.
He is.
We love that guy. He puts out some. Whereas my videos kind of suck. Donkey balls. His are legit. So
They
go ahead.
sort of the brand name for good production values for those videos.
Man, I wish I knew half as much about making like sparkly, flamey stuff happen on letters like he does. It's amazing. All right, so let's move on. Here we have Mark Harrison. Mark Harrison is a gentleman from the Idaho Falls area. He actually plays out of the same dojo that the Chain Attack guys come out of, and he is a terrific fellow. He's been on a number of their episodes, and I think he's been on a few of the streams as well, and he is a wonderful painter. So here you have a little bit of an example of some of his Legion. We have, for those of you who don't know what that is on the left, that's a Tariff, in case you've never seen one. And then we have one of the Veils. I'm not sure which one that is. Is that Veil 1?
I think it's Epic Veil.
Oh,
I
that's
think
Epic
it's
Veil?
Epic Veil.
Okay. Usually I can't.
think so.
Usually it's this Veil, and I just start pooping myself right away.
Well, I just start like, how am I killing that? It's a target. Get it.
And then we have a oh god, what the hell do they call this thing?
A rake.
A rake. Thank you. I think rakes are cool looking. They look like Alien had a dog. And
Yeah.
and they're super. God, they're annoying. Like defense 15.
I wish Legion wasn't so broken. That'd be a cool army to play, but
Yeah.
it's too much ignoring the rules BS for even me.
Exactly. The only I really honestly don't know how Zosha can possibly be in a relationship with Jake Van Meter. I don't understand how that works. It must be the blue eyes.
Yeah, it is. He's dreamy.
He
I'm
is.
surprised though. Usually he said he liked girls with southern accents, and she doesn't have a southern accent. So
Perhaps it's Southern Asia? I don't know. I don't know that there is such a thing as a Southern Asian accent.
oh,
But
I think we should abort from this one before it goes crazy.
all right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to press the button on that one, and we'll move on to more Mark Harrison. Now, the reason if you look at the picture that I have up here on the screen, you'll notice that on the right-hand side we have some variety of Griffin. I don't know what it is. It could, when a circle player puts a Griffin down on the table, they could just tell me it's anything, and I'd believe them. I don't know if that's a Scarsfell or if that's a Quicken
Scarsfell.
Chicken or what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's a Scarsfell.
Okay, and then we have Gotvana, who is doing a beautiful job. I mean, look at how beautiful these models are. If you look at it technically, he's doing a lot with dry brushing, and the amount of detail that he's getting out of it is absolutely beautiful. So, for anyone that thinks that that dry brushing is anything less than a completely legitimate technique, I would offer you these models. These are beautiful, and they are fully utilizing that technique, and they look amazing. And then I have...
Yeah, they actually look cool.
Yep, and then I have Thor over here on the far left side, who is setting fire to Gotvana, which is totally appropriate.
Absolutely.
By the way, Circle players, if Thor has gotten that close to Gotvana, you've done something terribly wrong. And for Merc players, if you've let Thor get that close to Gotvana, something has gone terribly wrong.
Or right.
Or really right. I mean, beyond right. It's like nobody knows why him and his flamethrower. Yep.
It looks like he's in a rear arc, too, so, I mean, that's an extra +2 to hit. I'll set her on fire.
Oh,
if
yeah.
Thor's what I got, I'll set her on fire.
Oh, there you go. Outstanding. But, Mark, fantastic job on these models. Really high-class looking. By the way, John, did you notice the cool effects I've used on this presentation? They're hovering, and they're casting a shadow.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Isn't that great?
You're taking it up a notch.
Yeah, PowerPoint. It does things. There you go. Now here we have a very colorful, perhaps the most colorful of all Scorn that I've ever seen. This is from Giorgio Alessi. I could say his name literally all day. Giorgio Alessi. That is an amazing name. And here we have what he refers to as the Bronzeback brothers. He has a couple of Bronzebacks here with, we have, is that it? That must be Annihilator there on the right, correct? That's not Naresh.
It is Annihilator, because Naresh does not have a big sword like that.
Yep. And then we've got a Pain Giver over there, which is a Bronzeback's best friend. And we have a couple of Bronzebacks in here getting ready to basically take down a Colossal and have Fury Despair. So
depends on the Colossal, but yeah.
Yep. So there we go. And we have here, Giorgio, really good job. Very colorful, very bright. Really like it, and I will tell you that if I saw this Scorn on the table, I would be. The other thing that's wonderful to note here is that you'll notice that he has a blue eye. So this is an Aryan Bronzeback. This is a very rare Bronzeback. You don't see those that often. So,
but he's a ginger too. If you look at the one, he's a ginger. So
does that
he's
mean,
not quite perfect Aryan?
Does that mean that if he were to be killed, he would not give up a soul?
He would not, because he's ginger. It's like Striker. No souls for killing Striker.
You know what? I absolutely should remember this. So for those of you out there, pro tip: if you're playing against Giorgio with a Crix army, don't plan to get any souls from his Bronzebacks, as they are ginger. Excellent. Good job, buddy. Good one.
Exactly.
Speaking of Crix, we have this submission from Chris Crix. Chris, I apologize. You didn't include a last name, so I can't put you up there. All I had to go with was your email address. So, Chris Crix, it's like Chris Kringle, only it's dead. So, he did this as a gift exchange with a little bit of the Saxon Auric thing, and it was for a buddy that had was going to be using this in a Pharaoh army, and his colors of choice were black and pink. So it was basically, do what you will, but make sure that it's got some black and some pink in it. And I'll tell you what, bud, I wish he would do my pinks for my Tatak reel, because that highlighting job that he did with the pinks is beautiful.
Yeah, actually, I very much like it, and I think he made a good call making the turban pink and the cloak black rather than vice versa.
That would have been awesome. Or bright, one
maybe.
of the two.
No, it's a very good model. I very much like that.
Yep, absolutely fantastic. Really love it, and really appreciate the submission. I really like the basing job as well. I really appreciate the little tufts that he's put on there. It really looks like a deserty kind of scene. It really ties it all together.
And a good job getting the standard Trollblood scheme on the head there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, could have been purple though. If it had been purple, it would have been even better. All right, here we have one from my nemesis, which usually would be our good friend Felix from down in Chicago. But in this case, it is Zach Watson, who continues to beat the living daylights out of me on Brushmachine, which is available on YouTube's at youtube.com/MenothJohn. And here we see Dem Jakes. So Dem Jakes is, I haven't seen her on the table recently, but he did a beautiful job painting her up. And her with a hunter, equals bad times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she looks good. I actually, she's one of the few models that I actually like the standard for sale model more than I like the Kickstarter model. Not that that model's bad, but I really like her pose with the standard one better.
I agree. I think I would say the same for Gaston as well. I think that Gaston is a better pose too.
I actually like Gaston. I'm one of the few who likes the Kickstarter version.
Okay. Well, you're off the show for arguing with the host. No, just kidding.
Finally, it took so long.
No, seriously, no, you're not allowed to leave. I will never find anyone that will do this show on a weekly basis with me, so you're not allowed to leave. But back to the model. Looks beautiful. Ties in really well with
absolutely.
Zach, the rest of Zach's army. Beautiful job. And also a soulless model. If you'll notice here, she is also a redhead. Now whether the curtains match the whatever, we don't know. But you know, this could be colorization. We can't tell these things. Could be a little necromancy going on there. Never can tell. So dem Jakes.
It's called Gingermancy.
Gingermancy.
It's evil.
Very nice. Hey, Dragon Pup. Submit your imperatives next time. This is something that we had been doing once a month, and we'd forgotten about it for a long time. So we're going to bring this thing back on a regular basis again, because I think it's important that we highlight the work of the Brushheads. You know, at the end of the day, this is sort of kind of a hobby show, and we want to make sure that the good folks that are painting along with us on a weekly basis and who are part of the stream get a chance to show off their stuff, like Scott Joseph did. Scott put here the big difference between Scott's Earthbreaker and mine is that he put his legs on correctly, John.
That is true.
Yep. Here you will see.
So that model could use some extra good instructions. Holy moly.
Yep. So the big difference here is that his legs fit on the base, whereas mine levitates gently above my base. And there you go. So, but a fantastic job. I love to see an Earthbreaker with a lot of weathering on it, and he has gone to town on this model.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yep. A lot of that gives it kind of a grimy feel to it. I really think he did a good job on here. Looks like he might have done a little bit of airbrushing on there and got a little bit of maybe a little bit of a glow going, kind of a thing around here with around here. So I really good looking job, Scott. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, this is a very interesting part of the slideshow, John. This is where we have Borka v. Borka. So we're going to have a little bit of Borka 2 here. We have from Tim Rich, otherwise known as. Now, you can pronounce his internet name two different ways, the way I see it. You can either be Red Mage's Hat or Red Mage Shat. Which do you think it is?
I'm going to go with Red Mage's Hat.
Okay. I'm going to go with Red Mage Shat because I think that's funny. But he probably doesn't mean it that way, so I shouldn't make fun of it. I'm assuming it's a reference to that Vigi game with the Red Mages. But
Probably Final Fantasy, yeah.
Yep. So, but here we see Borka with Borka 2. This is with a brown bear, my preferred color for the bear, and also the bear color of mine. And I really, really, really like the skin color on this troll.
Yeah, no doubt. That looks almost orky and very super sweet.
Yeah, I have never seen a troll army with this skin color. And while I love my purple skin trolls, I think this is actually a little bit better. And it is just a pristine paint job. Beautiful job on the fur down on his boots, and the multicolored fur around his neck is amazing. The other thing I would point out is the rope for his balls down here. You see he's got a handful of balls. He's got rope right there. And he's done a beautiful job of shading that. So it really looks like he's got something tied onto his balls. Next one.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
Here we have a model here from Miles Healy. Fantastic guy. Just recently posted a picture of himself in the Podfather shirt, which was super sweet. And here we have his Berica. So he's decided to go with Berica on a polar bear, more of the studio scheme. But as you can see, he's going with an alternative color scheme for his skin as well. He's going with a darker green skin, which I think is amazing. It looks almost like I guess in the P3 line it would be the Gnarls green, perhaps, or the let's see, what is this one? No, not Thornwood. Probably the Gnarls green, I would suppose. And it really shows off his teeth nicely.
Yeah. That one looks sweet too. I like it.
I also like the fact that he went with like this bluish rune as well. It really pops out nice against the dark of the stone for the rune stones that are on his on the bottoms of his chaps, I guess you would say. So great job, Miles. Super sweet. Borka 2, or Berica as he's better known as. So let's move on to the next one.
Absolutely. Yep.
Here goes Tadgo. Now Tadgo submitted me some wonderful trolls here, along with obviously the opening picture with the super sweet Brushhead. And here we see a Pyre Troll, and we have just an amazingly good job of grading the color. So as you look at the color on his fists up here, how it gradients between the yellow to the orange to the red to the dark, absolutely amazing. Plus, I love the face. It's such a cartoony looking face. I just love it.
Yeah, I do like the gradient. The gradient's good. Face is good. I actually like the base too with all the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. That looks like a lava pit's going on underneath his feet, which is totally appropriate. So great job, Cliff. Super appreciated. Great job. Here's some more. Here's some bog trogs. Now these questions, the thing I like about these bog trogs is that they have a kind of almost bony appearance to them. It's almost like rather than being fishmen, they were like almost skeletons or something like that. Oh,
I'm still waiting for him.
Okay, there's Crash Bash. Crash Bash in the background.
Yep.
Hope we on the second anniversary we need to have Crash Bash come in and make sure everything's good, to make sure that we're getting high quality bird action during the second anniversary show. And here are the bog trogs. I would imagine you've caught up by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I really like the gator skin the one's wearing. I like the way that came out.
So, riddle me this, Batman. If the bog trogs work for the gators, why do they let them traipse around with skins of gators on their backs?
Because they don't have that much pride. They're like, yeah, you killed that gator, but that gator was weak. He's not me. I'm strong.
Oh. See, I'm willing to live with that explanation, because I didn't have a good one. It's like, that seems odd. It's sort of like buffalo. It'd be like somebody walking around with, a human skin on their back or something like that, but probably not.
Yeah, we're all touchy-feely. Gators aren't really touchy-feely.
No, I guess not. I was expecting maybe he'd have a little bowl of fava beans on the ground or something like that. Anyway, so here is a little bit of Hakar the Destroyer from our good friend from the Netherlands, Nick van Slagmat, otherwise known as Orsik. Now the question is, which did I pronounce more correctly, Orsik or Nick van Slagmat? So I believe...
Hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. I think I mispronounced both of them. So, but Hakar here you can see, I think he's pulled off an amazing job of portraying him as being made out of stone. Especially if you look, even his cloak looks like it's made out of stone.
Yeah, he's super cool.
Nick is
I dig him.
True artist.
Yeah, he was helping me. I think I mentioned last time. He was helping me with my rat paint scheme when he saw that I wasn't super pleased with it. So I'll get some pictures up of that when I eventually get that changed up.
Now, January 10th, I'm leaving for the Netherlands on business. And Nick and I hope to get together at some point during the week that I'm there. So it could be the week of Nick, or Nick Week in the Netherlands that week. So it's going to be amazing. These little tokens that are down here, I'm a little concerned about those. Oh, those are soul tokens. Nick, maybe if you could put in the chat room, did you actually hand draw those and make those yourself? Because I bet you did.
No, they look like Muse on Minis, because it's the Muse on Minis little dude.
Oh, well, I tried to give you credit.
That must be their new ones. If you made them, that's even double sweet. But I think those look like Muse on Mini dudes.
They do. They do. Well, then they're not as sweet, but they're pretty sweet. So they'd be double sweet if they were made by Neek. So there you
Yeah,
go.
he just confirmed in the chat room that they're from Muse, yeah.
Yep, cool. All right, so thanks a lot for that one, Neek. Super awesome. And here we have from Jason Belsha, we have Xerxes 2. John, I have never seen a bad Xerxes 2. I don't think it's possible to make that model look bad, and this one looks amazing.
Yeah, he's very cool.
All the gold in there, and then the slate gray armor the slate gray is not something I've seen before, and I think it looks really, really good on there. And I'll tell you what,
Then some red or orange for highlights is pretty cool too, for little like on the handles, and like his mask or face is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Now, allegedly, I don't read the fluff anymore because I stopped buying the books thanks to War Room. No, he's paralyzed?
Not really. He's just healing.
Okay. He's
like, oh, you need some time to heal? You're not going to leave the front? Oh, here, have a rhino.
Here, have a rhino. There you go. Cool.
Can I have that at work?
Where's my rhino benefit? That's what I want to know. I need a rhino benefit at work. Like, I don't think Starbucks is going to pony up for a war rhino for me. I think that's kind of weak. All right, here we go. Next one. Now, folks, everybody, we love everyone the same here on Painting with Menoth John, but we are now in the midst of greatness. This is Chris Sura, D Vader. I'm just going to call him D Vader because I'm not, until he tells me how to pronounce his last name, I'm never saying it again. D Vader. He just does nothing but show up to work Warmachine weekend and win. And I would be willing to bet you that if you put this model of Berica next to the studio one, his is better.
It's definitely possible.
Yep. I mean, the thing that just going to point out a few things that struck me about this Berica model. One is that he's actually shaded the fur very differently depending upon where it is on the model. Like if you look at his head, areas that should be more clean because of where they are on the animal are more clean, and where they should be more dirty, they are more dirty. It's just the blue that he's chosen. The studio blue is perfectly rendered. Every little nuance of the skin, every crease of his forehead is highlighted. The metals are amazing. Chris is just a fantastic painter, and we're blessed to be going to have him on the show. He's got a presentation that he's done on color theory, and we'll do a special Painting with Menoth John where we have Chris on here to actually present that information, and we'll put it up on YouTube also. But I think that we'll probably do it as an interactive kind of a thing so that we can have the chat room going, and if there are specific questions during the course of it, we'll have Vader right there ready to answer the questions. So I think that's a big opportunity we have to kind of share this knowledge with the Brushhead community, and we'll get that planned out here right quick.
Absolutely. And that Dozer and Smig and that bomber are super sweet as well.
Oh, it looks like he's got Old Rowdy's shoulder pad, which is fantastic. And
with the big skull painted on there and the weathering, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
It's, man, do I wish Gunbjorn was good enough with rules to warrant having a paint job that excellent. And then the base, look at the base. I mean, you talk about the models, but then he's got it set up as a diorama that, there they are. They're just on the regular basis, ready to play. You just take them right off of there. So, fantastic work, Vader. Here's some more from Chris. And here we have little Horgle Ironside there. I really like that he's over like a volcanic thing there on his base. He's done the object source lighting on the rock around it, and you can see that he's down there, forging weapons and things like that. And it's just beautiful. And then, we don't need to talk about that model over there. We don't need to talk about Abby too.
That other model also looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. And
that base is super amazing.
Yeah. Abby 2 is going to get to see what 7 Impalers feel like on Tuesday. And this is what she looks like before she gets hit by 7 Impalers. So, really super amazing. And great job, Chris, on these two. I wish my Horgle looked that good. Then here's a couple pictures of work in progress. Now here we have what appears to be we have an axer, and it looks as though he's possibly taken Rock's axe and added. It's because it's a very large axe. I mean, the axer's axe is a big axe, and I don't know how many times I can say axe in the same sentence, but that's a lot of axes. And he's putting a little bit of little fur action going on here, some spines coming out, and so that's going to look beautiful when he's done. And it also looks to be a more dynamic pose than the original. And then we have
It looks like he added fur around his head too. That's kind of cool.
It almost looks as though he's perhaps doing a wintry axer for use with Berica.
Yeah. Or he's bulking him up. It could be. It's hard to tell. Maybe he's bulking up to be almost heavy-sized.
Like he's we'll have to see. I'm sure Chris will share this one with us when he can. So and then we have what appears to be a converted gladiator. Maybe is that a gladiator? Must be.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's got the mammoth's tusks on it.
As if that model needed to be harder to put in base contact with anything.
I really like the people that take mammoths and stand them on their hind legs and convert them so that they're standing straight up so that they're actually playable. Oh,
L. Marshall says it's the Extreme Gladiator.
Yep, I just saw that there. So that's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful model. Beautifully in progress, and I'm sure it'll be even more beautiful. It's amazing that that's a work in progress. And I'm pretty sure I couldn't paint it that well finished product. So cool.
Yeah, it's super good.
And that is the end of the slideshow. That is the end of the Brushhead Gallery for this our anniversary show here. Now I got to hang on here. I got to make that go away. Okay, hang on. There you are. Now you're back. Woo!
Woo!
You know what we didn't do, John?
What did we not do?
We did not pay homage to our sponsor.
Oh, indeed.
And our spokesmodel has been standing here in the wings, waiting to get on. And I think that it wouldn't be a second anniversary show if we did not have a spokesmodel for Discount Games Incorporated and Greenleaf Terrain. So, John, if it's okay with you, we spared no expense at bringing our spokesmodel on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the lower torso of a slag troll for Discount Games Incorporated. Hi, I'm the lower torso of a slag troll. You may know me from not having anything above the waist, but I can tell you that I was gotten at Discount Games Incorporated. And if I could play anywhere, it would be with Greenleaf Terrain. But right now, I'm just a lower torso. I hope that sometime during the game tonight, show or whatever this is, that Menoth John gives me an upper torso. Oh, hey, I'm the upper torso, and I'll be put on after a while. Well, shut up. This is my segment. Always trying to steal my thunder. Upper torsos are like that. They think that just because they've got the lungs and the heart and the esophagus and parts of the colon that they should have all the spotlights. But this is my time here with you on the second anniversary of the Painting with Menoth John show. Now, I might just be a pair of legs and a pelvis, but I can assure you that if you order me with a Troll Sorcerer and some Battle Foam Pluck Foam, that you will almost exactly add up to $50, and then you'll get free shipping. So take it from me, the lower torso of a slag troll, that if you go to Discount Games Incorporated, you'll get free shipping if you buy $50 or more, or if you go to Greenleaf Terrain, that you will get really excellent terrain from Canada. And there's one thing the Canadians know, it's terrain. They have a lot of it. They have trees. They haven't cut down all their trees like we have in America. They haven't fracked everything so that their stuff isn't all fracked up. And they understand about terrain. So trust a Canadian. Trust Adam from Greenleaf Terrain when you need terrain. I'm the lower torso of a slag troll for Discount Games Incorporated and Greenleaf Terrain. Back to you, Menoth John. Well, there you have it, folks. a very, very special spokesmodel tonight, the lower torso of a slag troll. Run.
Oh, I have to add out. Tadgo was asking, was he talking out of his butt?
I think that's the only way that a lower torso of a slag troll could possibly talk. So there you go. Archie Dan just figured out that this is clearly an alcohol-heavy show. Really? What?
Yep.
What could have possibly been your first clue? The fact that we started off by drinking a shot? I mean, we're a drinking show with a painting problem.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to switch this over to the painting cam because lower torso of a slag troll needs some work, and I'm just about the guy that's going to give it to him. So we've made it past the Brushhead Gallery. Thank you, each and every one of the Brushheads, for submitting. And like I said, just keep an eye on the Facebook. If you are not a member of the Facebook page, get over to Facebook and like Painting with Benoff John and get in there. And we would love to get your submissions for the next Brushhead Gallery, probably in a month. So we like to do the segment about once a month. So join us. It's fun.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to assemble this guy. I got to make some green stuff. Meanwhile, I should probably have a little bit of rum. I haven't had a little bit of rum in a bit. So I'm going to get the Mount Gay rum out next to the lower torso of a slag troll, put down the shot glass, and we are going to take a little shot for the FlippityBloops. John, the Brushheads pulled it out in the 11th hour, did they not?
They did. They hit us with a ton of them. And in fact, one guy gave us, it looks like a dozen himself here at the end.
Who did that? Was that Archie Dan?
No, it was Rob Arenas, which I've never heard of before.
Nice.
But
I know that guy. I met Rob at Kingdom Con, I believe. So he's a super legit guy.
We'll have to get to some of his, because at the very least he's got some that are appropriate for the second-year anniversary for reminiscing.
Fantastic. Well, you are the master of ceremonies, so go ahead and have at it, John. Flippity bloop.
All right, first one's from Owen the Cooler Shindell. He says he's starting Kador, and what should he start with?
You know, this is a tough question, John. This is harder than it initially seems, because Owen is the king of the special snowflakes. It might have something to do with the fact that he's Canadian, and snowflakes are near and dear to the Canadians. They like their maple leaves. They like their snowflakes. So I would say that for Owen, I would like to see him champion Zerkova. Now Zerkova is actually, I've had some friends of mine when I lived back in the Utah days who took Zerkova to Lock and Load, and I believe it was Lock and Load #1, and did very, very well with Zerkova. So I would encourage him to start there. Without that, I mean, if you start brand new, I guess maybe a Sorsha 2 or Butcher 3. I mean, it's a little cliche, but perhaps, Owen, you could take that into a slightly different direction. John, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Vlad 3 with all the horses.
Ooh.
How can you not start with that army? That army is super cool. Plus, you can get 2 Man-O-War Dracoons, and those things are amazing.
And Owen would do an amazing job painting them as well. So
yeah.
Owen's a very, very good painter, and I think he would do a great job with it. So there you go, Owen. Good luck with all that.
All right, next from Alan Green. He says, what was your favorite Christmas toy you got at Christmas as a child?
My favorite gift that I got as a present as a child, I think I'll go with the one that I remember probably the most. Well, there's two that I remember the most. One of them was a Super Pong that I got. It was actually the Sears equivalent of Super Pong, and that was an amazing gift. That, for the longest time, even into the PlayStation 1 days, was still something that we had up. My folks had a cottage that they had inherited from my mom's side of the family, and Super Pong was something that was always a part of our summers up at the lake. So I would say Super Pong would be one of them. The other one was a pinball machine that was also a Sears product that my parents got me for one of my gifts. And having a pin, I used to go when I was very young. I used to go down by the lake up at that thing. My brother and sister were much older than I was, so they didn't. They were like gone off to college or working or stuff during the summertime. And I used to go down to, of all places, the local tavern to play pinball. Now, let's just stop and think about that for a second. I was probably like 10 at the time, and I was going into a tavern by myself to play pinball. And my parents let me. What does that say about Mike and Henrietta? Anyway, so, but they were wonderful parents, and I learned a love of pinball because of that. And so those are my couple of my favorites. What were yours, John?
The one that stands out the most is I'll give two because reminiscing with Bowie early or not Bowie, Banyan earlier brought this up was my mom got me Snake Mountain, the He-Man toy.
Nice.
That had a microphone that was supposed to make your voice sound all maniacal and menacing, so you could do the maniacal laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be used as a karaoke machine if you're a small child.
Nice.
And parents love that.
I'm sure they did. Made them regret that sucker all the damn time, didn't you?
Yep. And the other one was sort of an early Christmas present my mom got me was Jetfire, the Transformer, because he was actually legitimately a Valkyrie from Robotech.
Nice.
And we had gotten him home and found out that he had two left arms, and she drove all the way back to Toys R Us that night with us to get the right one, which was super cool.
Yeah, super great. By the way, the people are a little bit surprised that I like pinball. Pinball's always been my favorite game, and if I were to ever have an arcade machine in my house, it wouldn't be no damn video game. It would be a pinball machine. Pinball is amazing and infinitely replayable and super fun to party with and stuff like that. So, yay pinball. The only video game that might possibly, if someone said, I will give you this video game, it would be the Iron Man Stewart's Off-Road, which was a 4-player arena cross game that was super legit, and so I would consider that as a possible replacement. But I love pinball machines.
Me too. They're super cool. All right, Cliff Hughes asks, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
If I were a tree, I would be. I'd like to be a redwood because it would be super fun to be able to be tall, and I'm not tall, so I could see over things, and I could live a long time, and people could drive cars through me eventually. But I guess that would be super cool. But maybe to describe my personality, I guess I would like to be. I guess my personality would be such that I'd be one of those trees that is like they call them an opportunist tree. So they just kind of pop up and they grow, and I try to think that I like to think that I thrive in a lot of different environments and under a lot of different circumstances. So that's kind of probably the tree I am. What about you, John?
I would say I'm an oak.
Oh,
I'm built pretty solidly, and I'm pretty solid in personality, I would say. So that seems most appropriate.
And you'd make a nice table.
Sure. Bowie says he'd be Groot.
Very nice. Well done. Well done, Bowie. Bowie is not a tree.
He's not a tree.
He is a plant. So, Bowie, you cannot be Groot, even if you want to be.
He's a plant.
He's a plant. So you don't get scrub oak. That's great.
All right, and Archidan says, what was your favorite toy that you got for Christmas this year?
Okay, so this year, I don't really have Christmas presents. I guess I don't treat myself to presents, and my kids don't get me anything. I think that's silly, because what that means is that I'm getting it for myself, and I get plenty of stuff for myself over the course of the year. I bought myself a chess clock just before the Christmas holiday, and I love that. And if you watch the painting with the brunch machine with Menoth John shows, I've been featuring it recently, and I really like it. It turns out really good. You know, I've seen that Chain Attack has been talking about trying to do some kind of an online kind of a thing where they're trying to do an electronic chess clock, whereas I can just do put a second camera on my chess clock, and I've got an electronic one. So, whatever. So somebody let my dog down here, and she's going crazy. So, hi, I'm an entirely assembled slag troll for Discount Games Incorporated. The lower part of my torso will no longer talk to you, as it now is filled with my guts. So, suck it. There. That's it. That's the fully assembled slag troll for Discount Games Incorporated. Anyway, what about you? What'd you get yourself this year, John? Anything?
I actually didn't buy anything for myself this year, but I got it's the randomest thing, but my mom got me that I'm going to show on the screen this little orange cushy dinosaur
Aw.
thing, and it's just super cool. I don't know why, but I like this thing. There you go. That's my favorite.
That's the cutest damn thing
Right.
ever. And your beautiful wife got you the cool headset that we are the benefactor of listening to your amazing audio on.
No, that was my mom too. My wife
Was
got me a Blu-ray player actually.
Oh, hot damn. Well, that's good too.
And,
Everybody,
I will talk about another one of my mom's gifts later in the appropriate section.
Excellent.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Okay. Excellent. Oh, I can't wait for that. All right, here we go. So there we go. So that's it for that. FlippityBloop.
All right, Lisa Hughes asks, who is
Lisa
your favorite
Hughes.
character from Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Large Marge.
I have never seen an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh, she's asking for the Playhouse. Okay. Well, Jambi, because Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Hiney Ho. Mecca Lecca Hi,
go-
Mecca Hiney Ho.
I'll say Cowboy Curtis because Lawrence Fishburne, because I know random things,
There you go.
but I know I've never seen an episode.
Super cool. No, that's a totally legit answer. So excellent. Oh, El Marshall got a Drax bobblehead. That's amazing. By the
Yes.
way, this is one of the reasons why we do this show right here, is that the chat room is so amazing. We have great
Yes.
people being interactive, even when we're friggin' with we're just bullshitting, blah, 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 blah. We have the best chat room in history going on in here. So anybody else, suck it. You don't have our chat room.
All right, I'm going to jump around a little bit now, make sure we
Okay.
get the best ones.
Yep.
Greg Webster asks, what's your favorite Kurt Russell movie?
My favorite Kurt Russell movie is probably Stargate.
Wow, okay.
Stargate is an
Really?
amazing movie, and in fact, Jacob and I were going to watch it the other day, and then we decided we wanted to wait until Charlie and Belinda could join us, because I love that movie so much, and it spawned one of my favorite TV sci-fis, the Stargate SG-1 series. I really like it. So, what about you? New York, Escape from New York is such a great movie too. Big Trouble in Little China. But John, what do you think?
Yeah, well, El Marshall just said it. You just said it. Big Trouble in Little China. Not close.
Yep. Cool.
That's a me kind of movie.
No, that's super cool. I mean, that's the great thing. Kurt Russell has been literally in a billion movies. He was such a child actor with the Disney, and
Oh, I remember those.
I wish I could remember even a single one of those, so that I could have said one of those. It would have been amazing. I'd have blown somebody's mind with, I don't know, the old Yeller up the Witch's Mountain or something like that, or old Yeller the Reckoning or something like that. Who knows what it was called? But
The one with the donkey that kicked field goals.
oh yeah, I remember that one. The Apple Dumpling Gang was not in that one, but I just wanted to say
No.
Apple Dumpling Gang. So there you go. People think this podcast is about stuff, and it's really not.
All right, let's jump to another one. We get a couple easy ones here.
Sure.
Tim Simpson wants to know, what do you want to see out of the next Troll Bloods book?
Something with reach that's not a character. I think that's pretty easy. I mean, that's the thing that everybody says, and it's kind of the truth. We need something Privateer, a character, so that we can have something other than Mulg that has reach as a beast. But I don't know. We've got. Other than that, I don't honestly care if we ever get another infantry unit, as long as the world lives. We've got some of the most amazingly wonderful infantry in the game, with warders and Creel warriors and champions and Jesus Fenblades. So we've got so many great infantry choices. I wouldn't know where to put. I don't know where to put them half the time. But we got a beast that I don't want an animus that gives me reach because that's defeating the purpose. Because we already have animi that we need to do other things, and since you can only have one animi at a time, that screws everything up. So I really, really, really want a regular beast that has reach. What do you think, John?
They're trolls. I don't play trolls anymore. They can get whatever. It'll be fine.
Thank you for your support.
Hey, they're not a faction. I'm like, oh, they can't have X. I'll give them a chance at everything. Seems okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you for somewhat of your support in a non-committal, non-specific sort of way.
I don't put a lot of thought in factions I don't play.
No, that's fair. And I'm actually becoming one less shorter now. I'm getting rid of my cricks. I've decided that I don't really I can't see a scenario where I would want to play them. I have enough other factions that when I need a palette cleanser from something, I'll go from trolls to protectorate to mercs to no, not ret. I'll go mercs to something else. But I just have no need to. I can't see a universe where I'll play with cricks, so I'm in the process of selling those off.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. So Paul Johans, or Bowie, if you want, asks, is there a particular technique you feel you've improved on since starting this show?
Without question, washing and highlighting. I have gotten significantly better at being able to pick my washes and how I apply them, and in order to get different coloring effects and to get different depths, and then highlighting up different colors to get better at doing cloths that are highly highlighted. So sort of where, a lot of people, I think, in me included in that, when I was a newer painter, it gets very scary to pull those kind of brighter colors out of the palette to highlight something in a very aggressive manner. And boy, when you do, it is amazing. I mean, if you look at my sanguines and things like that for Protectorate, it's night and day the difference between my painting technique on those models from where it was before this show. Judicator right now does not hold up as a well-painted model because of the improvements I've made in how I paint some of those colors. It was also the last time that model was the last time I would ever brush coat a model of that size because I didn't have an airbrush at the time. But it doesn't have a lot of depth to the color on that model, but you look at like the at the Paladins that I did for the WTC fundraiser that I just recently got back from Will Pagani because that fundraiser never happened. And it's night and day. I'm so happy to have those guys back. I was going to bid on them and buy them to raise money because they fit my new paint scheme so well. And that's a function of this show. John, what would you say? I mean, you haven't had as much time to paint during the show, but as maybe I have. But what do you think has improved the most in your painting since being a part of the show?
I actually was going to say painting. I was going to say multitasking since I have to do a couple things at once. But my painting's pretty stagnant, to be honest. I did a bunch right around the first ATC and a little bit more for the second ATC, but I haven't really painted consistently since then.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the hard work you put in during the show, John. I mean, you really help keep us on task, and you organize all these FlippityBloops on your own, and you really make sure that, you mention stuff that's going on in the chat room all the time when I maybe can't keep track of it because I've got my brush down on a model and stuff like that. So thank you so very much, and I know the Brushheads appreciate your hard work as well.
Yeah, awesome. It's a team. That's
Absolutely.
what we do.
Hell yeah, baby. It's a great team, and I appreciate it. We're going to keep on doing this. I don't know why we would stop.
Absolutely. All right, let's get some non-trolls. Here we go. Let's get Tin Man XL in here. He says, are there games outside of Warmachine and Hordes that you're currently looking at?
I play a lot of board games, to be honest with you. Outside of Warmachine and Hordes, I play mostly board games. Right now, my number one games on my lists that I'm like, yeah, let's play that, are Five Tribes and also Splendor. other than that, from a miniature standpoint, I don't play very many miniatures games, and probably never will, because I've got enough other stuff to do. And frankly, as it turns out, with all the crap that I do for work, and all the stuff that I have to do on a regular basis, it turns out my brain is capable of holding exactly one complicated rule set in its head at once. That is all the bandwidth I've got. So I look at the closest thing to a miniatures game that I'm thinking about these days that I'm even remotely interested in is Rivet Wars. And Rivet Wars has such a light rule set to it that it doesn't take a lot of thought or memorization to play that game. So, but boy, Tin Man, if you're looking for a miniatures game, and you might be able to get it kind of cheap, because I don't think it's gone over all that terribly well outside the Kickstarter. Rivet Wars is legit. It's a great little rule set, super easy to pick up and learn, and the miniatures are cute as hell. And when I run out of trolls, you're probably going to see me start painting Rivet Wars stuff. So, and I'm probably going to be done with my trolls by Adepticon, is my guess.
Cool. So I'm obviously looking at Infinity, but I also play Malifaux and a little bit of Relic Knights and a little bit of everything.
Yep.
It's more, what game am I not looking at?
I would totally look at Infinity, but I just have nobody in my meta that plays the game, and nobody in my meta that's interested in learning the game. So maybe someday when my kids get just a little bit older, I might be able to talk.
Yeah, it's definitely that next level sort of game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole action-reaction thing that's going on, I think is something that I for sure know that my 8-year-old right now is my bigger gamer of the two of them. And so, and he's not going to be ready for that. But boy, is he enjoying Crossmaster. We're having a fun time with Crossmaster. So we'll see where that goes after we get learning all that stuff. So FlippityBloop.
All right, let's see. All right, Miles Healy says he's starting a Journeyman League with Gators in January with the Barnabas Battle Box. He said, what are our thoughts on adding a Bull Snapper and a Feral Geist for 15 points?
Seems legit. Bull Snappers for a little bit of the old spiny growth, and a Feral Geist is always a good thing. Feral Geists are wonderful from the standpoint that if you come up against an opponent that doesn't necessarily have access, especially in a Journeyman League, to magical weapons, you've got all kinds of scenario presence, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, super cool.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty good. I'd probably, I'm crazy, and they're models I like, but I would probably go with double of the frogs, the Croak Hunters, because those guys are pretty cool.
And poison's a thing.
It is.
And they look super fun to
go
paint.
hunt the caster or against beasts. They're pretty good. Yeah. And I feel like their model doesn't get enough use. They've got a good variety, but honestly, that's what you chose is not a bad choice. I mean, Bull Snappers are always good. Spiny Growth is amazing. As you get higher in the points, it starts to fall off a little bit as far as effectiveness as that infantry, but it's still really good.
Yep. I mean, if you look at stuff that Mercs takes, if Mercs takes it, it's probably pretty good.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. Next, we've got one from Joe Sepulveda.
Yep.
That's
good
a
job.
tongue twister.
Good job. You nailed it.
He said, I know it's not out yet, but I think some tips on working with new hard plastics would be cool. And I want to start on this one.
Please do.
It's really easy. Just go hit up any Games Workshop site. Anyone where the Games Workshop, says, the Games Workshop guys cover it, and they cover, how to work with certain stuff, because it's exactly the same plastic they'll use. But it's a lot of using the edge of your blade. It's basically what you do with the rest stick, if you will. Just have to be a little more careful because you can gouge out a big chunk really easily.
You can gouge out a big chunk of the hard plastic easily?
Yes.
Okay.
Because your knife will get in there, and like anything when you're cutting, it can go in. So you use the edge of the knife to scrape a lot. But yeah, just just hit some Games Workshop stuff. Check out, like, I guess, Bolt Guns Battles Brothers are a good Games Workshop podcast run by some ex-locals of mine. Good guys. Just check out some of that stuff. It'll give you all the tips you need.
Fantastic tips. I'm looking forward to that as well. I think that the Restic stuff. I'm a little bit. I ranted about it last week, so I'm not going to rant about it again. I'm looking forward to some changes as far as that's concerned. But I'll be honest, I have not worked with the hard plastic, the hard polystyrene much. What are the big main differences, John, in your opinion, that I will probably need as watch-outs? You mentioned the gouging. What's the next?
The gouging, filing's also you gotta be a little careful with filing because it'll take chunks out differently. It's something you gotta get used to. And you can use plastic glue, and plastic glue is good and horrible at the same time. Because on large parts, a lot of surface area, it bonds. You're never, ever, ever, ever getting that part apart. But on smaller areas, it takes so long to bond, you have to be really careful, show a lot of patience. In fact, on the small areas, sometimes I go with super glue instead, and then on the large areas, do the plastic glue, if you're going to carry both glues. Most PP guys, I wouldn't suggest it because you're not going to buy an extra glue just for certain parts of a handful of bottles.
Does the super glue actually bond well with hard plastic?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I've never, like I said, I've never worked with this stuff, so I'm asking probably some pretty newbie questions here.
Yeah, it works a lot the same to Restic. It's just a different material. Mold lines come off a lot easier. I haven't tried the brass brush trick on hard plastic yet. I'll get a old GW model, give that a shot when the first hard plastic model comes out, just to see.
I totally need to get that brass brush. You put the link up a dozen times on the Painting with Menoth John site, so I need to get to Amazon and order me one. Because I don't order from Amazon like twice a week.
Yeah, it's super good. I was upset I forgot mine when I was putting together or trying to put together some stuff, and I'm just going to clean what I can and done.
Yep. Cool. FlippityBloop.
All right, let's see what's more we need to get. Here's one that I feel like is appropriate for a second anniversary show. It's from Rob Alains, who you said you've met in person.
Super
and
cool
he
guy.
sent a bunch of them. We'll see what we can get through here. He says, "Why do you say, 'Hey, Ron'?"
Okay. So this dates back to Lost Hemisphere Radio, and it dates back to the very early days of that podcast, and it is we were going through each of the forces of Warmachine books, and we got to the Retribution book, and it seemed like every third word that was coming out of our mouth was Ron, and so it turned into a drinking game. So that by the time that I made my exit with Lost Hemisphere Radio around episode 29, it had become such a staple of anytime someone said Ron, hey, Ron, that it started to lose meaning. And it started to become more of a salute or Prost or Diborche or whatever you wanted to represent some sort of a generalized salute to the person that you're there. So we use it here at Painting with Menoth John as sort of a salute to anyone that we want to recognize or say how do or give them the high sign or whatever. So like, hey, Ron, and kick back a little bit of the grown-up juice. So so there you go. That's where Ron came from. And you know what? We've told that story before in the past. I don't mind saying it a couple more times because you know it's part of the heritage of the show, and I really appreciate you asking the question. So there you go.
And his second one is, why is it called FlippityBloop?
FlippityBloop is because there was a podcast once upon a time that you may have heard of called Focus and Fury, and a member of that particular group was Nigel Brooks. Nigel Brooks is an amazing guy. Love Nigel to death, and he was doing a parody where, okay, if you go all the way back, Muson Minis had what was called a lightning round. And on the lightning round, they would ask very short questions, kind of like what we're doing right now, and they would answer them. And then Crippled System took that and decided to steal it, and they called theirs Zappity Grumble. And Zappity Grumble was the sound of lightning and thunder, and so it became Zappity Grumble. Well, Nigel was talking about it, and he referred to it as Flippity Bloop or something like that, just sort of an off-the-cuff comment, and we decided to steal that from Nigel. So Flippity Bloop is a segment that was stolen from Nigel, who was parodying Crippled System, who stole it from Muson Minis. So it may be the most circuitous route for a 30-minute ongoing segment of any podcast anywhere in the multiverse. So there you go. That's where Flippity Bloop came from.
All right. His next one is, why are you painting so many impalers?
Why am I painting? Because I have them. I have 7 impalers. The armies, my troll army was partially purchased from a guy by the name of Dustin, who lives in Logan, Utah, which is where I used to live, and he had purchased from G'day an army that was known as the Tata Creel. And the Tata Creel was a breast cancer awareness army that G'day had started, and it hadn't gotten too terribly far. It had gotten a little bit far. It had some scattergunners and some beasts and things like that. And when Dustin was getting out of the game, Dustin these days pretty much focuses on Pathfinder and stuff like that. He was selling it, and I got wind of it, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I may not be on Lost Hemisphere anymore, but we're going to keep the Tata Creel in the family. So the Tata, I went ahead and bought the Tata Creel from him and decided that I was going to continue it and flesh it out. And then a local purchase got out of Trolls and gave me the most insanely ridiculous deal in the history of all things anywhere, and I got basically the whole faction for $400. And in that lot of Trolls, between the Tata Creel and Sean's army, was 7 Impalers. So that is where 7 Impalers come from. And I thought, wouldn't it be super legit or funny, take your pick, if I ran all 7 of them in a single list, which, I mean, if you're going to have 7 Impalers, they're all in one list, right? And I can't think of anyone that turns on 7 Impalers harder than Gunbjorn. So I'm going to play Gunbjorn with 7 Impalers. This is the whole list, folks, in case this is the first time I've ever talked about the whole list. The whole list is Gunbjorn with 7 Impalers, Horgle Iron Stroke or Ironside or whatever he's called, with two Slag Trolls, a fully assembled Slag Troll for that matter. Shut up, we've heard enough from you today. And a Creel Stone. And that's the whole army. Turns out that's 50 points. So it's going to be pretty crazy. Oh, God. John, can you do a quick tip on doing OSL without an airbrush? No. I can't. I have no idea how to do that. If it were not for an airbrush, Owen, there's no chance that I could possibly ever do OSL. I think that... I'll tell you what we'll do. Owen, save that question for when Chris is on, because I can guarantee you that OSL that was done on Horgle Iron Strike was not done with an airbrush. So go ahead and do that. So get a hold of... Wait for that. It's coming. So flippity bloop.
All right. Well, we're getting sort of way past the time. We need to do a little bit of media. So I got one last one.
One last one.
Which should be funny from Arky Dan.
Arky
Dan. He says, was there ever an end? Oh, God, we did something terrible, and this is going to explode in our faces moment in the early or recent days of any of your podcasting endeavors. If so, how did you navigate it?
Oh, God, yeah. Jesus. When haven't I done one of those?
Well, not so much with this podcast because we're live, so if we make one of those mistakes, we don't even notice till it's too late.
Well, I think you could make a strong argument that when we decided to live stream and compete against Privateer Press at what was that? That was Lock and Load last year.
Yeah, Lock and Load, because it was the same weekend as the Drop Zone birthday. Because I had to run that.
Yep. And I had Will Pagani on, and Ed Defoe was the broadcast team, and we decided that we were going to go head-to-head with the legitimate Privateer Press stream because we wanted to offer the people an alternative. And we got to the point where we were advertising that our alternative stream was going on the chat room of the Twitch feed for the actual Privateer Press stream, and we got banned 3 times from the Privateer Press stream in the process of that. And I thought for sure that I was going to get an email, a nastygram from Privateer Press saying with a cease and desist or something like that, and I probably would have looked at him and gone, you know what? Yep, we crossed the line. You're right. Sorry about that. And I would have ceased and desist immediately. But we didn't. They had a super great sense of humor about it. Got nothing but love for the Privateer folks. That was an oh, by the way moment. Not sure what other ones. Maybe my comment earlier about Sosha having a Southern Asian accent might be our latest one. So you never know.
Yeah, normally we just put our foot right in our mouth because it's live. So
yeah, I think that we try to be a podcast of positivity, kind of stealing that old line from back in the old Lost Hemisphere days. And I think for the most part we get that. We don't try to rile people up. I may have gone too far with Scoopgate. I may have that was probably a moment I'd take back if I had it. But
I don't know. I felt like we're the only ones going anywhere with that. So, someone has to if no one else is.
Yep.
And sometimes that's us.
Yep. Exactly. Then that's cool. So that's who we are. But that's probably about it. So yeah, there you go, Archie.
Yep, and as usual, if you didn't hear Flippity Bloop, and there were quite a few, you guys came through with a ton at the end, and they required a lot of answering. We'll get them hopefully in a special episode sometime, or we'll fill in if any episode we get extra time.
Yep. By the way, Archie Dan is Dan Kotrup from Tectonic Craft Studios, in case you don't know him.
Oh, okay, Archie Dan. I know who you are, Dan. We've met.
Yep, Dan's a super great guy, and he makes wonderful stuff. Yeah. So get over to Tectonic Craft Studios if you want some really amazing laser cut wood type things that's either terrain or tokens and all kinds of good stuff. So, and he's an amazingly nice guy. So we met him. I met him this year, and he goes on towards the top of my list of cool people I've met this year. So
yeah, he's been down to Drop Zone a couple times.
Yep, great guy. Highly recommend him and his products. So there you go. Free one there for you, Dan. You don't even have to send me anything for that. Boom.
All right, so media section.
Media section. Ladies and gentlemen, wait a second. Do I have any? I'm out of rum, but I'm not going to pour another one because I don't want to die. And my boy and I and Belinda are going to play Castle Panic after this. So I will give us a salute using the remainder of my spotted cow. So, hey, Ron.
Ron.
John, it's about this time that we usually get ready for another Painting with Benoff John movie club.
Yep.
You had a great suggestion, a movie I personally had not heard of before. So why don't you break loose on the Brushheads what that movie was?
All right. Well, I'd noticed just rolling through Amazon that Lucky Number 11, which is a movie I like very much, was available for free streaming. So I figured, what the heck, I'd see if Mel-chan was up for that. And he said thumbs up, so we're going to watch Lucky Number 11.
So it's a Bruce Willis gig, and that's primarily based on Bruce Willis. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I mean, he could take a poop, and I'd probably be okay with watching. I wouldn't be okay with that. But anyway, I don't know anything about this. It sounds like it's got a little bit of the old gangster type movie going on.
I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay, so we'll just leave it right there. So your Painting with Benoff John movie club selection for this month, and we will review this shortly after the first of the year. If not the first episode after the first of the year, it'll be right close. It'll be Lucky Number 11, and you won't regret it, from what I understand.
Nope. I've already seen it again, and I will watch it again soon.
Excellent. So if you have the need for obsessing over a movie, this appears to be right up your alley.
No, it's just one I'd wanted to buy on DVD or Blu-ray, and it was always a bit more expensive than I wanted to spend. And now I can just stream it for free because it's Amazon Prime.
Boom!
Thumbs up.
Amazon Prime. Love Amazon Prime. So yeah, we're getting rave reviews from Fredox in the old chat room there for this one. So it appears that we have certainly struck a positive chord with the Brushheads on this one.
Well, hard to go wrong with Bruce Willis and Ben Kingsley and Morgan Freeman. I mean, it's got a good cast.
Oh my God, he knocked over me. I was sitting there. I'm a fully assembled slag troll, and he knocked me over. It's because you're completely off balance, you piece of shit model. Anyway, sorry. I got interrupted there for a second by a fully assembled slag troll. So yeah, we're looking forward to that, and that will be your assignment coming out of this. Now, John, you saw another movie, a movie I have seen and I'm very familiar with, and one I am a huge fan of, and that would be the amazing Flash Gordon.
Absolutely. And we're talking about the one from 1980, not any of the really super old ones, starring Max von Sydow being the only person there you probably really heard of.
Yep.
Well, there's a bunch
Topol.
of other guys in it too.
Topol. They may have heard of Topol.
I doubt it.
Oh, I have.
More likely would have heard of Timothy Dalton.
Or Brian Blessed.
Or Brian Blessed, yes.
Brian Blessed is amazing.
In that movie. Now, the first thing to set this movie tone right, this is like a comic book in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally. They don't play around with it. There's no scientific accuracy.
No.
Immediately, realism goes out the door. Put that out of your mind. Realism, it went over there. We're not dealing with it anymore.
Nope.
But this movie is super fun.
Yep.
It's so cheesy. It's great. It's actually even paced fairly well. It starts off pretty quick and then gets a little slow for a little bit and then just boom, 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 end of the movie. I love this movie. It's hard to overstate it.
And it's got such a good soundtrack. The soundtrack by Queen is just money.
Yep, absolutely. And everyone's like, all the actors know that they're doing a comic movie, and they're in full-on cheese ham mode to just get it to the right tone, and it all works together.
Yep, it's just beautifully done.
I mean, if someone had been taking it the wrong way, it would have been bad. But apparently, they're all just taking it the same way, and it's awesome.
Timothy Dalton's in this movie.
Yeah, he's Prince Baron.
Yep, absolutely, fantastic.
I'm not sure he's the second worst Bond. I actually kind of liked him as Bond, but
yeah, he was fine.
That's for another day.
Yeah.
But it's super fun.
Come on, Bonzi. Come on.
It's very uneven as far as what people do sometimes. Dale Arden goes from being damsel in distress to whooping people's asses and shooting people back to damsel in distress, but who cares? It's a comic book. You can see any of that happening. They took a comic book. I'm sure someone made a comic book of it, and they just said, we're going to put this on the screen, and they did. And it was super awesome.
Go, Flash, go.
Yeah, absolutely. And apparently, being a quarterback, the first thing I thought of to note it was he's sitting there in the beginning. He's quarterback for the New York Jets, and he's in a station wagon.
And he completes
because that happens.
But what's even crazier about it is he's a quarterback for the Jets, and he completes a pass during part of the movie.
No one catches anything he throws. He bounces it off their chest.
Right.
That's pretty accurate.
That's right. Actually, that is correct. I thought you're correct. I stand corrected.
And I'm sure that spinning back kick is totally a quarterback move. That's.
I think I saw
It's early on, sort of playing. He gets in a fight and he's getting his butt whooped, and then they throw him this little offering to Ming the Merciless, Max von Sydow, that's vaguely football shaped, and suddenly he starts whooping their butts because magic football powers.
Oh my God! I want to watch this movie again.
Go watch it. I found it on DVD a while ago for $5. It may have been some of the best $5 I've ever spent.
Oh, hands down, the best $5 you can spend.
The picture's not good. I would literally buy this on Blu-ray if it were available.
Have they not
for
put this
better
on?
picture.
Have they not translated this to Blu-ray yet?
They probably have. It's just, it's another thing. Why buy a replacement for something I have on DVD when I can buy something new?
I hear you.
I need to go back and do that. I mean, come on. They have Battle Beyond the Stars on Blu-ray. They got to have this on
Good
Blu-ray.
point. Well stated. Good point. Well made.
But good movie. Check it out. It has another one of those special rankings. I give it 0 shots of Kraken because I don't need to drink any Kraken to watch this movie. I love it. But it's so fun and at points so campy that you can have as much Kraken as you desire.
I think that's a very fine rating for this movie. Oh God! Now all I want to do is watch Flash Gordon again. Oh my God!
And my mom got me the T-shirt that he wears in the beginning, the white T-shirt that says Flash on the front with the red rings.
Nice.
She got me that for Christmas too, which was super awesome.
Your mom
now I just need a big blonde wig, and I've got a Halloween costume.
Boom! It's too bad we don't live closer. We'd be in team tournaments. I would totally. If you were wearing that outfit, I would totally go for a Dale Arden dress. I would wear I'd wear a dress through. It got to be an ugly Dale Arden. Holy cow! I'd be an ugly Dale Arden.
You see, I knew you were probably going there. I just hoped against hope you were going to say something like a Prince Fulton, Brian Blessed costume would have been better.
How about I go with Professor Zarkov, because I could probably just wear. I'm halfway to his look already, with the gray beard and all that stuff. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Depends on which one. If you get the Mongo garb one, that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But good movie. It's got some good. It's got good moments. There's one scene where people are like, "I've changed," and he's like, "I thought it was such and such. I haven't changed."
I haven't changed.
It's super awesome.
Yep. Great movie. Excellent suggestion. Get out there and watch Flash. If you haven't seen it, you suck. It's amazing.
And Arky Dan said 6 shots of Kraken. Oh,
you're so wrong. Get off my
that's
podcast.
too bad.
Get off my podcast.
Yeah. I love that movie. Good Lord. How do you not love that movie?
Arkadan doesn't even know what our Kraken scale is yet. So, 6 shots of Kraken would essentially, they would have to deliver the 6th one to your grave, because at 5 you're already dead. So
unless you're Blubberella, which you got the 10. So
boom. So there you go.
My bad. Apparently that was for you in a dress. He was giving 6 shots of Kraken for you in a dress.
That would be
I'm with.
That would be shit.
Absolutely fair.
I've got great legs. I don't know what you guys are talking about at all.
Not going there. So what did you watch this week, John?
So I watched. I've been watching actually a fair amount of Xena, Warrior Princess recently. It's been kind of. I know that Belinda Librarian's a huge fan of it, and she kind of turned me and the boys onto it. I love this show. It is so campy and so incredibly cheesy, but the star of the show, as far as I'm concerned, is Gabrielle. Gabrielle is Xena's sidekick / comic relief, and she starts off the show as being basically almost worthless. She's kind of a bard, and she now in the show where we're at, she has gotten some sweet bow staff skills, and guys like girls with great skills, and I'm not like who am I to look at that? And she's hot, and so she is my favorite. In fact, I just recently named Impaler number 3 Xena, and that means that Impaler number 4 had to be named Gabrielle. So I now have Xena and Gabrielle, who will be part of the 7 Impaler list on Tuesday. So, but I've been watching Xena. It's a Sam Raimi shtick, and it is every bit of Sam Raimi. And in fact, it's got Bruce Campbell in it, of course, because he's got to be in everything. I think it's a law. And
it's like King of Thieves or something like that. Oh,
yep.
And they got Ted Raimi, his cousin, as Joxer, who was amusing as crap.
Yep. So we haven't gotten to him yet. We're still in the first season. We're still in the first season, but it is. We're just having a ball with it. The kids are loving it. In fact, after the show wraps up tonight, we're probably going to watch another episode of Xena. So highly recommend Xena. I would say one shot of Kraken just to take the edge off of how cheesy it is, but it is very well done, and you can see where Ted Raimi is headed for, because I believe that this predates his work on the Spider-Man shows. And go ahead.
I'd probably give Xena 2 shots of Kraken because the really good episodes are definitely 1 shot of Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
The really bad episodes can definitely go much worse.
Good point. I think that's
but no, I think together with people it gets a lot more fun.
It is, and with my kids and stuff, we're just having a ball with
yeah.
it. So,
They
highly
don't make
recommend
enough
Xena.
TV for like that for kids anymore. That's all too serious, which is cool for us adults, but I don't know if I want kids watching all this super serious TV.
Yep, we've gotten to that part of the show where I've no desire whatsoever to paint any longer. So I've decided to go back up on the face cam. So so that's where we are with that one. And then I had one more that we could discuss, and then we'll probably call it a show, John. And that is one I had threatened to discuss last time, and that was The Incredible Hulk. And this is the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk, not The Hulk, which was an Ang Lee movie, which should have been a warning to everyone right there. But the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk was very well done, and I think is where eventually the Hulk was headed towards with the Avengers and things like that. Just a fantastic origin story. Basically, they do the origin story of the Hulk in the first 5 minutes in sort of a montage, and then you get the whole interplay of the army and how they're why they're hunting the Hulk and how they're hunting the Hulk, and it really sets the stage eventually for the Hulkbuster stuff that we're going to see in Age of Ultron coming up. So I think that Ed Norton, Ed Norton did a really good job as Bruce Banner, and he's a very good actor. It would have been nice if they had figured out a way for Ed to continue his role into the Avenger movies, and but I think the thing was he wanted to do other stuff, and you know what? It's his career. He gets to do what he wants with it, and it made a job for someone else who maybe wouldn't have had that job. And
Mark Ruffalo did a great job in the Avengers. I don't know if Ed Norton could have done the same job.
He's terrific. I really, really, really liked him in that role, and it was actually his performance was one of the reasons why I wanted to go back and see this movie, because I knew that this movie with Ed Norton was more of an Avengers-style Hulk, and I wanted to make sure that I saw that. And the boys and I watched it along with Belinda, and we had a really fun time with it. Liv Tyler was nice in the movie, but she was.
I kind of like Jennifer Connelly from the first one better. I felt like she did a better job, but this movie was better, absolutely.
I like Liv Taylor. When she's not a great actress, and her voice is kind of irritating, but she's easy on the eyes.
She cries so much.
She cries
so
a lot.
Much crying.
I thought for sure she was going to get blown up in that helicopter, but the Hulk came to the rescue, because that's what he does.
Yep.
And so there you go, Incredible Hulk, get out there. And I agree with you, Ed Defoe, that Ed Norton messed up a little bit. He could have made a lot of money, but at the end of the day, he's probably got more money than he needs anyhow, and he's happy with what he's doing, so good for him. Good on him. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they'll bring him back for a cameo or something like that, because that's kind of how they are. But
yeah. So
anyway,
what do you give The Incredible Hulk?
I give The Incredible Hulk 1 shot of Kraken.
Okay.
I give him 1 shot of Kraken. I think that's one where you take a little bit of that Kraken and it kind of just knocks the little edge off of it. Probably knocks the edge off of Liv Tyler's voice, and you can enjoy the rest of the movie quite well. But so there we are, John. I'm calling.
There we are. End of the second anniversary show.
2 years we've been at this nonsense, and I honestly don't know how many episodes we've had, and I don't think that it is something that is knowable anymore, because the show started off on Ustream and then switched to Twitch, and we didn't start uploading to YouTube right away, and we certainly weren't an audio podcast until later. And so this will be episode 42, I think, of the audio show, which is amazing because that's the ultimate number. So at least we got that going for us.
Indeed.
So, but yeah, absolutely, Ron. Hey, Ron. So, Brushheads, thank you very much for 2 great years. John, I'm looking forward to another year of this nonsense with you. We're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to keep on painting. We're going to keep on having more spokesmodels. And we're going to keep up the love. And out there, Brushheads, keep on painting. So I'm going to cue up the old end music here, as I am wont to do at this time in the show. And we are going to pot it up here. Potting it up, that's a radio term, isn't it? So we're going to go ahead and bring that up here. And on behalf of John Spencer, this is Menoth John, and this is the Painting with Menoth John show. Everybody, have a fantastic New Year's. Stay safe. If you're going to get out there and drink, don't drive. Get a designated driver or get a cab. Stay safe in this holiday, and we want to see you on the next Painting with Menoth John show in 2015. Hey, Ron!